Hello and welcome to another lesson in phonics. I'm excited that we have finished the A consonant and we're going to be getting into the O consonant. If you've ever heard the Khmer alphabet, you'll see that each consonant, almost in every case, has a pair. So for instance, there's Ka, that makes the K sound. There's also Ko, that makes the K sound as well. So each one has a pair. One is Ka, one is Ko, one is La, one is Do. And in Khmer, there are only ever two ending sounds to the consonants. Either it's Ka or Ko, or it either ends in A or O for every one of them. Now in English, we have B, C, those end in the long letter E. We also have K, which ends in the long letter A. We have F, which starts with a short letter E. So we have several different things. But in Khmer, every consonant will either end in A, such as Cha, La, Sa, the ones you've read already, or the ones you've learned already, or the O's, which we're getting to today. O, Go, Ko, Do, they end in the letter O. Now the letter O is almost shaped in your mouth like an English O. However, it's more up near the back of your throat, and your lips do not make the W sound for sure, but we'll get to that more later. For right now, you just need to recognize there's two of them. Let me go through an example in English and try to explain a little bit of what happens in Khmer, how they get the different sounds. So, for instance, if I were to write two words on the board, bit, if I want this to be a long I, right now it's a short I have to add another vowel because one vowel in a word, it says short sound, two vowels, it says long sound. I have to do something to the vowel. I have to add, most cases, you add a second vowel. Well, in Khmer, it's not that way. As we said earlier, almost every consonant has a pair. And so the vowel does not change. You do not need to add an extra vowel. The look of the vowel does not change for the first sound or the second sound. I has two sounds, right? Your I and your I. Khmer, the vowels also have two sounds. However, nothing changes about the vowel. What changes is your consonant. So let's just imagine in English that we have a set of consonants. One consonant is B, it says B. And let me just draw another shape here. I'm just completely making this up. Something like that. And let's just say that is, we'll name it Bay. It has a B sound as well. So B says B, Bay says B. But when you put B with the letter I, it would always say bit. When you put Bay with the letter I, it would always say I, bite. I hope this isn't confusing. That is what happens in Khmer. The vowel looks exactly the same. Nothing is changed about the vowel. The thing that changes is one consonant is A, the other consonant is O, so it tells you that the sound of your vowel is different. So we'll be going through the O consonants now with the second sound of the vowels. The first one we want to look at, if you take your book, your first grade book, I've cut it up to make it easier to hold on, but the first grade book we have the letter Go. This is page 21, so if you're not familiar with the numbers yet, just start at page number 1, look through, see what the number 2 looks like, find page number 21, or up here you have the lesson number 16. That might be easier to find, but even looking for the pictures, we have the letter Go. You'll notice it looks very similar to the letter Ga. It is its pair. They both say the exact same thing. They both actually don't really have a sound. It's more of that stopping the air in the back of your throat, that very, the K without the air, the g sound. But this letter is called Go. So for instance, I'm going to write Ga, which we already know. And this vowel, you already know what this blend would be, correct? Ga. Well, if I'm going to write Go, and for this instance, I'm just using two different color markers. But if I were to make this one a Go instead of an A, it no longer says ah. My vowel no longer says ah. My vowel now says ia. Ia. This is the same exact vowel as this one. And not everyone has one like this. It just happens that these two sound exactly the same way. Ear, ear, cá, kia, cá, kia. All right, you're just gonna have to memorize what the sound of the second one is. Cá and kia. Then if you look on the back of that page, you'll see the next letter in the O alphabet is, this one is called ko, and the pair of this one is ka, so this would make a K sound. One thing that you want to really note here is that the ko has the loop on the outside. And it can be touching, whatever. What I mean is this, because there's another letter that will come later that has, it's exactly the same. Sorry, I'm writing very small. Exactly the same, but the loop is on the inside. So just remember the one with the loop on the outside is the K sound. So we have ko. If we were to go back to our first illustration, we have ka. This would say ka. However, when that same vowel is placed with a ko, the K sound remains. These both say k, as in the K or the C sounding cat. So cat, kia, kia. This would be read kia. We want to learn one more, and I won't make you find it in the lesson book, but this one is the pair of na. This one is used a lot, so I want to get to this one pretty fast. How would that be read? Na, na. And the pair for that one is this. Okay? And you'll see it written a couple different ways. Sometimes, I'll just write it over here, sometimes it can have a loop. It can have a loop right here, but it does not have to have a loop. The flashcards I have do not have the loop, so I will write it without the loop. This one is the letter no, and if I were to add an a to it, it would say nia. All right, so let's look through the flashcards for these. I'll just erase these now. This one, so the first thought in your head would be, what is the pair of this one? What does this consonant say? So this is go. It would say gia, gia. All right. The pair of this one, ka, so K sound. Kia, kia. Or remember the name of the letter, ko. You have the sound right there, the k sound. Kia. The next one is no, nia, nia. So many of the vowels change sounds. However, there are four for right now that do not change. No matter what your consonant is, the vowel says the same thing. We're going to go over these four right now because they should be easy to remember, and I want them to be set in your mind as these do not change. These will stay the same no matter what consonant I put with them. The first one is a sound. Now, there are some words that do change, so if you speak to a native, they'll say, well, it does change sometimes, but the vast majority of the time, it stays A. So for now, we'll just say it stays the same, and then when those exceptions come, you can memorize those. This is the word gay, gay. Right? The A stays the same. This one, A, K. And the next word, nay. Another vowel that stays the same is ua. Ua always says ua, no matter what consonant it's put with. So this would be read gua. This would be read kua. And the last one for the uas, nua. Another one that stays the same is ia. I don't really understand why the a, the one we had earlier, the a, also makes the sound ia. Just realize that in every language, there are some doubles and not everything has to make sense. So just memorize it. Just realize that that's what it does. This one says ia every time. So this would be read as gia. All right, what would this say? Kia. This? Ni. And the last one for today that stays the same is the Okay? A lot of times I will almost clench my teeth to make this sound. Because it's a very tight sound in your mouth. So maybe that would help. To close your teeth. G. This one would be read. K. And the last one. N. All right, now we are going to go through another page in the book, and it has to do with the ah sounds, because we're not completely done with the ah sounds. We know the sound of everything, but there are some more things that we have to learn. So if you look in your book, this is lesson number 42, if you see at the top. Just keep looking through until you find this picture. And I know that you cannot see my paper on the board. I know it's too small, but please have your book open. Just look at your book, and I'll try to explain it as I go through. All right, so if you could have your book handy, that would be great. The first row, we see two gaws put together. Now, there are some rules that we'll get to more later, but what this means is the first gaw is the beginning sound. The last gaw is the ending sound. Remember when we read in the book last, we had a lot of the ro, like this, that ro letter that was silent, that sort of ended. It was maybe a symbol of the end of a syllable. Well, this doesn't have that. So this is basically your beginning sound, your end sound. Let me explain. The first word you see there does not have a vowel. There's no vowel there. It's only two consonants. When there is no vowel, the consonant says its name. I know we've already talked about this, but the consonant says its name. So this is ga, and it would end with the G at the end, the ga, another ga at the end, or the K without the air. So it would be read ga. Now, the ga at the end has absolutely no sound. It's not released, it's actually stopped. You just need to prepare your mouth like you're getting ready to say another ga, and that's the end of it. So ga, and stop before you say the second ga. For instance, I'll read it once, just the letter ga. Ga, and with a ga at the end. Ga, ga. I'm using the back of my tongue to stop the sound. Okay, the next word would be, and this word you've already heard in the word ice. Tak ga, for frozen water. Okay, tak ga, you've already heard that word. Second word would be ka. Hi. The next word I'll read, and then you repeat after me. Jaw. Next, dog. Once again, I'll say it once. I'll give you time to say it, and then say it together with me. The next one, dog. Fourth from the end, bog. Next, saw. Next, law. Now, the next row is an exact replica of the first row, except for that it has a little mark over the second consonant. That little mark is called a bunta, and what that means is it has to be said fast. It has to be pronounced fast. Let me read the first one, the first row, and then contrast it with the first word of the second row. So the first word of the first row is ga. The first word of the second row is ga. Let me say first row and second row again so you can hear comparison. Ga. Much faster. Now, it has to come from the back of your throat. So you have to get your tongue ready like you're going to say another ga to stop it. Don't just stop your air. It has to come from the back of the throat. So here, this would be ka, cock. All right, go ahead and I'll say it and then you say it. Cock, 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 cock. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm reading this one time, letting you repeat, and then I'm reading the second row one time, also letting you repeat. So I'm on the third word, top row, jock, you say it, jock, and that would be the second row. Next word, dog, 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 bó, bọ, sock, sock. Next to last word, lock, lock, off, off. All right, so you can see the contrast there between the two. One is a lot faster. The third line, we now have a vowel. We have the vowel ah for all of these. So the first word, I'll read it. You repeat. We'll say it together. Gag, gag. Second, khag, khag, jack, jack, đạc, đạc, bạc, bạc, sack, sack. Now, next row, once again, a repeat of the row we just read, however, with the bunta. So this time, we'll just read the fourth row, the same way we read the third row. I'll say it once, you repeat, and then we'll say it together. Okay, fourth row. Gak, gak, kak, kak, jack, jack, đạc, đạc, bạc, bạc, sack, sack. If you go down to the fifth row, you'll notice there are no more buntoks. That's because certain vowels do not need a buntok. They do not use a buntok. Only certain vowels can have a buntok. For instance, the first vowel is an O. It's already a short vowel. So it doesn't need a buntok. It's already short. That would be read go, go. All right. To your ear, it might sound, this and this might sound exactly like. So for instance, let me just write it out. This versus this to your ears might sound exactly the same. This one is go, go. What is happening here is I am only using my diaphragm, my breath, to stop this one. My tongue, my mouth, the inside of my mouth stays exactly the same. Go, go. But this one, I'm moving my mouth to make that ending sound. This is what stops my breath. Here, it's just my diaphragm, just my breath. Here, it is actually the back of my mouth that's stopping it. You might not be able to hear it, but they can hear it. So this one is go, go. Slight difference, but you want to remember, at least get your tongue up there. Even if you can't hear it, at least get the back of your tongue up to the roof of your mouth to stop that air there. Okay, so that's that one. Next word on the fifth line. I'll read it, then you read it, then together. Joke. Joke. Good. Joke. Joke. This is the long O. Joke. And they wouldn't use a buntok with this one, because if they want to make it short, they would just change from the O to the oat. You already have a letter for that. So just to explain that. Next word, this is the fourth word on the fifth line. Jai. Go ahead and say it. Jai. Next. Dai. Dai. The next one is a vowel. It's a short vowel, but when it comes with an ending sound, it just sounds like a short U. This would be read pa, puck, puck. And you already know that word for drink water. Puck, duck, puck, duck. And then the last word on that line is suck, suck. All right, Going down to the next line, it is the sixth line. This one might be a little confusing. Is the jaw the ending sound? What is it? This one is split up with the first letter alone saying its own sound, its own name, and the next two letters go together to form a syllable. As you study Khmer more, you'll see more patterns. You'll be able to understand the pattern of this. For now, just read it that way. The first letter, jaw, says its name, jaw. The second letter, jaw, says its name as well, but it ends with a ga at the end. So this would be read jaw, 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 jaw. All right, and then the emphasis is on that second syllable a little bit. The next word is easier because we have two syllables here. The first syllable is the correct? And then the second syllable is bo. Bo. Go ahead and say it. Okay, repeat with me. Bo. Next word. We have two syllables. All right. So you might be thinking, well, how do I know there's not three syllables? How do I know it's not bom, bai, ga? Well, if it was bom, bai, ga, they most likely would put an extra row in there at the end to say that ga says its own name. It ends with a row. So if that's confusing to you, just know for now it's probably the ending sound. If you don't see the silent row there, of course there are some exceptions, but not many. Okay? Because there's not the silent row at the end of the word, we can assume that the ga is an ending sound of the ba and the I, bai. Okay, so one more time, go ahead and break up between your syllables. Bom, bai, and read it together. Did you say bom, bai? It should have been bom, bai. Just remember, second syllable is the one that's accented. Next word is the fourth word of the sixth line. Go ahead and split up your syllables and read it. You should have said jom nai. Jom nai. Next word, very similar. Go ahead and split up your syllables. Read it. Dom nek. Dom nek. Now the next one uses the O vowel or consonants. In this book, this lesson actually comes after they've already studied all the O consonants. So we'll just do what we can. We won't go on from there as far as these three lines because it uses some of the O consonants. But we want to see what happens as we read it. So now let's look at the three pictures at the bottom. We can read all of those. The first one, go ahead and read it. Pup, pup. Second, go, go. And then the third word is two words together, two syllables. Gok sok, gok sok. All right, means to shampoo your hair. All right, that is all for the lesson. Just to review one more time, we have three new consonants. Our three new consonant is go, says the same sound as ga. Ko says the same sound as ka. And no says the same sound as na. Our new vowel is from a to I, says I. And then the four that remain the same is a, u, I, and u. All right. Hope you enjoyed learning some the O's today, some ending sounds, a lot going on. And I hope you enjoy learning the phonics of Khmer. Thank you.